that game of what was developing with having that no-hitter going?
You really try not to think about it, but it's hard not to getting later on into the game. So, especially in that last inning, I was like, lock in, focus one pitch at a time, and go from there. So, it's hard to not think about, but you kind of just have to force it out of your mind.
Are you kind of surprised you were as sharp as you were, seeing it was your first time in a game?
Yes. I mean, we put in a ton of work in the off season, but I really wanted to start this season off on a high note, and we have a great group this year, and Jesse is amazing behind the plate, and so I had a lot of support, and it definitely went better than I thought it would for the first start of the season.
Yeah, a lot's changed for you since last season. You stayed here over the summer to work out in rehab. You got a new pitching coach and a couple different new catchers. So, yeah, did it feel really really comfortable after all of that?
Yes. Well, Jessie, the catcher, I actually played with her in high school. So, the little reunion. It was our first game, official game back together as a battery. So, that was huge for us. And then Coach T, I have all the trust in the world in her, and she's amazing. And so, a lot of changes, but good changes for sure.
You mentioned the bond that you guys have and the pitching staff this year. Can you talk about the chemistry that you guys have and how it's been working with those other girls going into this season?
Yeah, I mean, everyone in our bullpen this year is extremely good, and so all off season, preparing for the season, just pushing each other, but competing and not comparing. So, and that's been the biggest thing is they're the loudest voices in the dugout the entire game. It's my fellow bullpen members, all I hear throughout the entire game, so their support is huge too.
And your defense also backed you up, making some amazing plays, specifically Kylie Edwards at
Yes.
shortstop. Knowing that you have that backup, how does that feel when you're out there in the circle?
It really allows you to just let loose and trust your spin and know that if you do have a slip up or a ball hit off you, you have an amazing defense behind you. And Kylie, being just a freshman, she's phenomenal out there. So it definitely helps settle into the game and get things going there.
Struck out 5 in a row at one point. What pitches were working for you? What was real effective?
The drop was the go-to today, which that's my most comfortable pitch, and so and I've had some struggles recently of just calming myself down for starts like that and not getting too amped up, and so in warm-ups, Coach T was like, why don't you go ahead and throw to the first batter in your warm-up so then you're ready to go for the game, and so I think that helped a lot too.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
The hitting, especially in that second game, starting out all 3 straight extra base hits to kind of get y'all going. Just how fun was that to be a part of it?
It was extremely fun, especially being like my first year here and trying to set that example, set the bar really high for myself and like for the teammates to like know that I'm there and I'll have their back whenever it's needed.
Yeah, just what's it been like in this new environment with preseason, just preparing for life on a much bigger stage here in the SEC?
Well, coming in, I knew like it was gonna take more preparation or like more out of me. So I just like spent extra time in the cages, extra time with my teammates, really building the fundamentals that it takes. So I was just really preparing. Takes it like a lot.
You're in more or less the same role as you were in at Louisiana Tech, just leading off Southern Tone, and the defensive play as well. What went through your mind? What did you see on that diving catching center?
Well, at that time I just see the ball and I'm like, oh, I gotta catch it. So it's just very much like reaction time and just I have to make the play for my team.
Setting the table like you did tonight. Just talk about the players behind you driving you in once you get on base.
Yeah.
How fun that's going to be, potential production can be. Just talk about that.
Yes, sir. Well, I know like all I need to do is get on base, and I trust 2, 3, 4 to get me in. So it's very nice having that, like to rely on. Even if I don't get on base, I can still rely on them to drive in runs and produce. So it's very nice having that as a backup to not have all the pressure on me all the time.
tonight you guys basically had a doubleheader, having to play back-to-back games. How does that kind of prepare you guys for these other tournaments that you guys are having to travel and play in, where you're going to have to play doubleheaders against top teams in the country?
It like prepares us really well because it's like you're having to stay locked in that like long period of time. Where like you don't have the 3-day like weekend series where you're only focused on one game. So we're like if you have a bad game, you have to focus on the next one. So it's very like beneficial for the long run.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
your time. Coached a couple of clean games to start off with, and no hitter in the second.
Yes, really excited to see that. It was great to get back out on the field. I know this group has really been looking forward to it, and it's really fun to see them come together and just the experience, the transfers. I think a little bit of everyone, and that was really exciting. And just overall the dynamic and even the dugout and everyone just really supporting each other and having their backs throughout both games was really good to see, and excited about what we can use from that moving forward.
You had Edwards take the first pitch this season in a Bulldog uniform out over the center field wall. You had Ella Wazlowski crush a 3-run bomb. What do these freshmen bring to the table in terms of adding more power to the lineup?
Yeah, these freshmen are special, and we've been excited to get them here the last few years, and they're just super athletic. They played at a really high level and have experience, and they can do a lot of things well. They can hit home runs. They're fast, they can run bases, and they can play really good defense. So excited about mixing them in with some of the players with some experience, and it was fun to see them kind of get the nerves out of the way. And Salem Hawkins as well. I think another freshman, Delaney Ever, getting some time in the circle that are going to contribute a lot for us this season.
Triple, double home run to start that second game. Just how was that fun to see?
It was. It's a lot of fun when they I think start to loosen up a little bit. And I thought we had a good game plan going in to face the pitchers, and they really adapted well and adjusted, which I think in the past sometimes it's taken us a time or two through a lineup with a pitcher maybe we haven't seen before to make adjustments. So I thought it was a very mature approach up and down the lineup, and to be able to come out and to see production top to bottom was huge for us too.
Along with seeing the impressive outings from the pitchers in the circle, you also had some amazing defensive plays, specifically from newcomers. What did you kind of see from your defense out there backing up your pitchers in the circle?
Yeah, I mean, really a lot of what we've seen at practice, and why these players are here. And Sierra Sacco has just been, she plays hard every chance she gets. Practice, game, any rep, she never takes any time off. So it was fun to see her get back out there and do it in uniform, but she's been doing it the last few months, even at practice every day. So she's just, I think it's such a special dynamic player and can do a lot for us. It's fun to see her and Briley out there working together, because they can really cover a lot of ground for us in the outfield. Ella's, big defensive player behind the plate, Kylie and Salem up the middle too. But just, I think the confidence, especially from freshmen, they're a little bit of nerves, but it didn't deter them from just playing their game, which was really cool to see.
It seemed like sometimes this lineup was lacking sort of that top of the order on base type weapon, and you got that now with Sierra. What does she bring to the table that obviously produce like that much of the year?
Yeah, she's just the ultimate table setter, and I think she does such a great job of, she never gives in to a pitcher. She will not chase off the plate. She's just kind of that pest at the top of the order that you have got to bring her a pitch, or she's just going to walk and steal second base right after that. But I think just does a really good job of understanding when to be aggressive, when to be selective, and just not ever giving in and looking for pitch that she can handle. And she has so many tools that she can use with it as well. It's just, from the bunting, she could stand in or slap and use her speed. So fun to see her get some opportunities to do that today.
What does this accomplishment mean for Josie after all the work she put in the offseason?
Really excited for Josie. She really has worked hard. She stayed here this summer to get back healthy. She had a little bit of an injury last season during SEC play, so she wanted to come back stronger and healthier than ever. So just the hard work she's put in, the determination, she's got so much movement on her ball. And to see her just kind of trust that, and being able to work with Jessie Blaine behind the plate, who was her catcher growing up, and then with Coach T calling it, was just really cool to see that moment kind of happen for all three of them and for them to do it together. But Josie and Aspen, they're just really different pitchers, but they really complement each other well. And I think we're going to need outings like that where they really are just in command from the start all season long from both of them, that we can use and kind of surround them with the rest of the staff.
You mentioned that defensive performance and specifically from Ella, the performance that she had. What kind of dynamic goes into the fact that you can play Ella behind the plate, but you also have Jessie Blaine that you can play behind the plate? So you have two solid catchers that you can play. Just kind of what goes into that, and how important is that moving forward?
Yeah, it's great. It's a tough position to play every game at, and when we play 54, 56 a year, it can wear on a catcher, really on any of them. But to be able to give them a break, especially they both have such consistent bats, we knew they'd be in the lineup, and they can spend some innings out in right field as well, so we can keep them both there. But a lot of trust, I think, of both of them behind the plate. Jessie really has the maturity to really handle the pitching staff, and I think she does a good job of keeping everyone calm. And Ella just big time arm and athleticism, and just does a great job receiving and getting strikes for her pitchers back there.
And you guys basically played a doubleheader today, just kind of getting that practice, playing those back-to-back games. How does that kind of help your team moving forward in these tournaments and stuff that you guys will be playing in the next few weeks?
Yeah, the preseason is definitely a grind. It's a lot of games in a short amount of time. So it's something we prepare on when we get them back here, and especially the pitching staff, even when we're going live and scrimmaging in practice. Having Josie and Aspen, and they'll go back-to-back days in the scrimmage, just trying to ramp them up so that the first time that they're throwing a significant volume of innings, it isn't opening weekend. But even now, just trying to be cautious. Honestly, we probably left them longer than we want to, but they both hadn't given up a hit yet until the later innings. So trying to ease them in as much as we can so that they're at their arms in shape and at the best when we want it towards the end of the season.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you,
Sounds
Coach.
good.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.